Welcome, beloveds. I don't usually do what I'm just doing, but we don't live in rules, we don't live in boxes, we don't live in structures in this life. And that's what I love about the freedom of being yourself without infringing yourself upon others. Got a beautiful message from the silence. Take a moment to breathe and just get still. Even if you think you can't, just take a moment. As something drew you to this video, just take a moment to breathe, get still, get quiet. Even if you do not think you're quiet, at the deepest part or component or structure of you, non-structure of you, is quiet, is stillness, is silence. Whatever works for you, to just be still. Just get quiet. Beautiful. Take a deep breath. And this message is about letting go. And when we hear the word letting go, we think letting go of something. There's so much noise and contrast, duality going on in these times. And a lot of this is happening to remind us where we truly are. And to remember to be dedicated, to be committed, to be there's no word that it's like a deep commitment, devoted. And not to the extreme that you have to be one way or another. Being devoted to taking the time to feel what you feel, taking the time to sense what you sense, taking the time to question what you're perceiving. As the silence is inviting us, and we see that, I don't want to say nothing has worked, because there is a greater plan, there's a greater purpose, there's a greater architect involved, a greater architecture being displayed and built and formed around us, from within us. However, everything is serving its purpose to remind us who we are, where we are, and why we are. And the greatest show, the greatest school, the greatest gym, the greatest business, the greatest family, the greatest church, the greatest source, the greatest vibrational medicine on earth is in the silence. Because that's when you have the ultimate freedom, that you realize how free you've always been. And so many of us, and it's okay, because that's what got you to where you are, have lost or been oblivious or been obscured from that source. So I ask, beloveds, that the message that's coming through is there is a great awakening, there's a great paradigm shift that's happening amongst us right now. And I heard the other day that we've been in so many paradigm shifts back to back to back from 9/11. I will even include the 2012, because so many people were afraid that from different people and places all over the world, they were afraid that it was going to be over. So we were never the same because we realized that we were being led to live in belief instead of realizing, you know, maybe we're not being told the whole story. Maybe we're not being told everything that's really going on. And because we depend on people outside of us to tell us what's going on, we focus and we commit more to intellect than intelligence. And when we sit quiet, when we surrender of wanting to be in control, wanting things to be the way that we want them, and of course, enjoying things as they come. But when we surrender that control of wanting it to be a certain way, intentionally living, knowing that what I put out there is going to manifest, but I'm not so caught up in the attachment of the destination or the manifestation um, um, completion, but I am enjoying the process of the maturity, the unveilment, the revelation, the unfoldment, the unraveling of who and what and why I am and where I am. In this process, we get to live in this constant surrendering process, but also this taking action process. The more we go within ourselves, the less we're going to fall for the noise. Because even think about yourself. If you don't sit quiet with yourself, are you going to continue to believe the stories and the perspectives and the opinions that either you put upon yourself or that the environment influenced you around you, that you chose to personalize, to take personal, so then you committed to that story being true? Not that it was necessarily true, but you committed to that story being true. So this little quick message that came from silence is stay committed to you. Honor you. Love you. Not just by treating yourself to things out here, but letting go of what you think is making you you. Because this is good or bad. Good or bad. Notice I do in quotations. Because all we have is events. All we have is experiences. Based on our perspectives and our stories and our attachment to labels and structures of what we think is true, we color and flavor our reality, and then we want to blame the whole world for that irresponsible accountability that we chose to draw or paint or structuralize our own self, because nobody can structuralize you. So when you take it personal, you commit to that structure. When you believe something, you commit to that structure. Because it's like I can tell you this tastes like mango. It's really water. But if I tell you this tastes like mango and you believe me, until you taste it, you're going to find out for yourself. And I see this happening in the world, that so many people are living in belief that they don't even have the experience of the investigation and introspection, both the investigation of what's going on out here, but the investigation of what's really going on in here, bringing those two dynamics to the table and saying, okay, now I can speak on this. But yet we have so many people sharing, speaking, and contributing to things that they don't even know are true. So a lot of us are contributing to a false sense of self because we're not taking the time to investigate what we are regurgitating, either what we're speaking, what we're sharing, and what we are recommitting to, because then we just continue that perpetuation of that validation of attention. So many people are seeking attention, yet not knowing where attention arises. So, that being said, as we are in this incredible paradigm shift that things are about to occur, beloveds, and I ask you, and I'm not saying because I'm going to say one thing or another, I am getting a lot of data that I cannot verify or quantify. But I will tell you that there is this incredible, enormous shift. But if you're looking for the outside, you're going to be very easily hypnotized. But if you are drawing your attention from inwardly, you're going to be able to, I guess you could say, for code speak, hack the system, or you're going to be able to filter out or dilute, or by concentrating on the direction of source that is not diluted, because the source within you is pure. It's concentrated. It's vivid. It's intense. And when you more focus on that than what you see, what you hear, what you even feel and think and perceive, will not be diluted, and you will not fall asleep to the world telling you who you are. Even those that care about you, sometimes they care about you so much that they're just telling you because of some fear paradigm that they don't want you to go through this. So then they're telling you, look, you need to pay attention to this, you need to see this, you need to look at this, without any investigation behind that. So now their fear of the unknown is now bringing your fear out. And instead of saying that that's personal, is, okay, what do I need to do with this? Let's take it into silence. Let's investigate it. Let's like break it apart, because that's the one thing that so many are running from silence, because they're running from the truth of their being. Because silence, there is no illusion that can overcome silence. Yet everything is from silence. It is the causal field of all creation. It is both the good and the bad, the light and the dark, the positive and the negative, the masculine and the feminine, the holy and the evil, whatever all these perspectives we put on, it comes from that. And just as I said holy and evil, let me just inject a little bit of my own personal experience. I don't sit or meditate or contemplate on throughout the day, or even as I sleep. I have the greatest sleep. Like, I don't even know when's the last time I had a nightmare. I mean, years. Honestly. Maybe one. They happened like 2-3 years ago, but it was something that happened. But my point to this is that I don't feel like anything is against me. I don't worry about demons. I don't worry about darkness. I don't worry about, the only darkness that I worry about is when it's dark in a room and I'm concerned if I'm going to hit my foot on the table, or if I'm going to trip, or if I'm going to make noise and wake up, people that are sleeping. That's the only, and giving, integrity where integrity is due. The other, I guess you could say, darkness of what I have been working on, so we could put everything out there on the table, is when I show up, and how am I going to say, what am I going to say? When I'm live, it just flows. But when I record a video that I'm going to edit, that I'm going to put out there, because I do want to get, bring the best message, not that I edit it, but that it's on a recorder and I can delete it, or I can, just, I never edit my videos, so that, but I've been advised to edit some videos. So my point to this is that's basically the only darkness that I'm experiencing. Is is this gonna sound good enough? Okay, re-record. Just do another video. Oh, I should have said it like this. I should have said it like that. Re-record. Do another video. And then when the video is done, I just put it out there. So my point to this is, see, that darkness or that fear or that insecurity could be displayed at somebody else as a demonic force. But to me, it's just an insecurity. It's just something that, comes from my past that I'm working on. But it's not some dark force against me. It's me against myself, from the illusory self that I've committed and invested when I was a kid. Because I wanted to prove myself to so many people. And then I built this incredible reputation that, fearless and invincible and really manipulative, because nobody knew how scared I was inside. Nobody knew how fearful I was, that no matter what I did, nobody loved me. And I was fearful of myself because I felt like I was the darkest, most vilest, most evilest thing in the world. So not to so much talk about myself, but I say that for this reason, is if you are afraid, or some kind of programming or conditioning has told you that silence is going to be this, bad thing, I'm here to tell you that silence saved my life. And silence is willing to do magic, wonders, and miracles in your life. Because silence is at the very core of life itself. It is in between the breath. It is in between the heartbeat. It is in between the thoughts. It is between the words that you speak. It is between the things that you listen to. Silence is primordial. It is, I will say, absolute in this dimension. Like, you cannot avoid silence. You can cover it up, you can mask it up, you can flavor it, you can texture it, you can even try to erase it, run from it, but you can't. It's impossible. Because silence is what connects us all. And this is why I do the Samadhi Silent Global Meditation. It is the greatest teacher beyond all teachers. And that's why all great master mirrors have pointed to us to get silent. The great Buddha, Jesus, meditated in silence, went out to the desert, no distractions, didn't take his disciples, because he knew any distraction would obscure from the greatest source of the Father, of the Mother, God, Source, Spirit, Universe, Creator, Infinite, I am, I, within everything. So, I invite you, beloveds, is, if you can, avoid listening to so much information, and if need be, find more accurate, more uncorrupted, undiluted, uncontaminated sources of information where it comes more from the source. And if you're going to put things out there, I ask you, investigate and do your work before you perpetuate something that could not even be true. And maybe you are sharing something that is more true. But a lot of people are creating duality and contrast, unconsciously, unintentionally, because they're trying to do their best to help, but yet because they don't do the investigation, and because it's coming from seeking attention, they perpetuate these cycles. And my source of wanting attention is so you can return your own attention to yourself. So share this video, share this message, and remind humanity that what we are seeking is what is seeking. And even what is not seeking, it's residing in that primordial presence, and it's just not even waiting, it's just being in its infinite presence, and we are the choice that can come back to that presence. We are the choice that can surrender to realize where we always were. And this is the Great Awakening. And until we take that to heart, contrast, duality is going to continue to separate the illusion of who we think we are. And it's separating it, and it's conflicting it, because it's saying this is no longer working. So let's go back to our ancestors, where they walked for days. They meditated at pools and ponds and lakes and streams and by the ocean. They connected to trees. They connected to to animals. They connect it to life. And we think this is life. Now, this is a tool, but it's not life. All is life. But I'm not saying this is not the source of life. The source of life is you, beloved. That is how you experience intelligence. So the more we let go of our intellectual hamster's wheel or rat race or hypnotic state, the more we'll realize that the intelligence, aka unconditional love, aka infinite divine wisdom, aka eternal life, is right here, right now. So thank you for joining me in silence. Tomorrow I will not be in silence, as I'm going into some sacred journey of going deeper within myself with plant medicine. So I will be back, and we'll be back Tuesday, as that is my contribution to myself, and in my contribution to myself, to be a greater vessel, to be a greater instrument, to be a greater participant in this global reawakening. Because we are in the midst of a great reawakening. And like I said, don't take anything personal, because it's not here to hurt you. Even though that might not make sense to a lot of us. But we are eternal beings, beloveds. We are eternal. And we are there one with each other. But because we get so caught up in the head, in the intellect, we very little feel the sensitivity, which is subtle, so subtle, that when you start becoming more, surrendering more to who you think you are, you surrender more to who you truly are. And that sensitivity awakens you of the oneness that we are. And if that sounds like something that you're ready to experience, step into that. And if we can help you, we're here to help you. Thank you so much, everyone. Experience the I of the I am, of the we are, of the you are that we all are. Much love. And don't judge anything. Let go of judgment. Let go of criticism. Let go of right and wrong, good and bad, because we're going to perpetuate duality. Just love everything as it is, because that is what is called healing. When you love everything as it is, you center yourself in this homeostasis state of being, and you allow the divine blueprint to come forth. The divine I amness, the divine presence of I amness. So, whatever you're experiencing, don't judge it. Dive deeper into it. And of course, we're all doing the work at some level, because I'm consistently doing this work. And this is why I commit to the last breath, and even in more lifetimes to come, as much as I can consciously be aware of, I'm setting myself up in this life so that my next life is guaranteed. If that's what you believe. I'm not putting my belief upon you or my knowing upon you, because for those of you that haven't heard, I've died several times. And it's up to you to believe this, but I don't want you to believe this. I want you to experience the truth for yourself, or what we can call the truth, and go within yourself. Find out the truth for you. Don't believe me. Don't believe anyone. Know thyself. Thank you. Take a moment of silence, and not to mourn anything, but to celebrate the greatest show on earth, the greatest gym, the greatest school, the greatest family, the greatest church, the greatest source, the greatest vibrational medicine on earth and in all creation, on all planes and all levels of existence, degrees of awareness, temperatures of life, elements of love and wisdom, oneness.